The billionaire froze mid-step. Across the small diner, his disabled father sat in a wheelchair, and a waitress, and a complete stranger, was gently feeding him like family. Not for money, not for attention, but what the billionaire did next changed all their lives forever. Stay with this story until the end, because kindness given in silence often returns louder than wealth ever could. Nathan Cole was a man the world admired, a billionaire by 42, tech genius, media favorite. But behind the headlines, Nathan carried a quiet shame. His father, Robert Cole, had suffered a stroke 3 years earlier. Half his body was paralyzed. His speech slurred. His hands shook constantly. Nathan paid for the best care. Private doctors, luxury nursing homes. But visits, those were rare. Not because Nathan didn't love his father, but because seeing him like that reminded Nathan of something he hated: weakness. And Nathan had built his empire by never being weak. That afternoon, Nathan's driver took a wrong turn due to road construction. Hungry and irritated, Nathan ordered the car to stop at a modest roadside diner, the kind of place billionaires never notice. Inside, the air smelled of coffee and grilled bread. A bell jingled as the door opened. Nathan stepped in, tailored suit, expensive watch, eyes scanning with mild disgust. Then he stopped. At a corner table near the window sat his father, Robert Cole, in a worn sweater, in a wheelchair, alone. Nathan's heart dropped. What is he doing here? Why isn't he at the facility? Before Nathan could move, a young waitress approached the table. She knelt beside Robert, smiling gently. "Okay, Mr. Cole," she said softly. One bite at a time. She lifted a spoon and carefully fed him soup. Robert smiled like a child. Nathan's chest tightened. Her name was Lily Harper, 26, overworked, underpaid. She worked double shifts to cover her mother's medical bills. She had noticed Robert weeks ago, rolling himself into the diner every Tuesday and Friday. Always alone, always struggling. The first time she saw him spill food onto his lap, embarrassed and shaking, she didn't hesitate. She helped. No one asked her to. No manager told her to. She just did. Nathan stood frozen, hidden behind a pillar. He watched Lily wipe soup from his father's chin. He watched her speak patiently, waiting for Robert's slow nods. He watched something uncomfortable rise in his chest: guilt. Robert laughed softly at something Lily said, a sound Nathan hadn't heard in years. That laugh hurt more than any accusation. Nathan remembered being 12, falling off a bike, bleeding knees. His father had knelt beside him, hands shaking from exhaustion after a factory shift. "Pain passes," Robert had said, "but people remember how you treat them." Nathan swallowed hard. And now, a stranger was treating his father better than he was. Nathan finally stepped forward. "Dad?" Robert looked up slowly. His eyes widened. "And Nathan?" Lily turned, startled. "Oh, I'm so sorry," she said quickly. "I didn't know he had family." Nathan couldn't speak. He looked at Lily, then at his father. "You come here?" Nathan asked quietly. Robert nodded. They talk to me here," he said slowly. "She listens." Lily stood awkwardly. "I hope I didn't overstep," she said. "He reminded me of my grandfather." Nathan shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "You did what I didn't." Nathan pulled out his wallet instinctively. Lily stepped back. "No, sir," she said firmly. "I wasn't doing it for money." Her voice was calm but strong. Something about that shook Nathan more than anger would have. Nathan sat down across from his father. For the first time in years, he stayed. He didn't check his phone, didn't rush. He just watched Lily feed Robert. And in that moment, Nathan realized something painful. You can buy care, but you cannot buy compassion. Nathan hadn't come for food. He had come face to face with his greatest failure, and what he would do next would shock Lily and change all of them forever. Nathan stayed longer than he planned. Minutes turned into an hour as he watched Lily move between tables, balancing trays, refilling coffee, smiling at customers who barely noticed her exhaustion. But every few minutes, her eyes returned to Robert. "More soup?" she asked gently. Robert nodded, grateful. Nathan noticed the way she never rushed him, never sighed, never showed him patience. It was the kind of care no contract could demand. When Lily returned to the counter, Nathan followed. "You didn't have to do that," he said quietly. She smiled politely. "I know. But I wanted to." Nathan hesitated. "He's my father." Her eyes widened. "Oh," she said softly. "I didn't realize." There was no judgment in her voice, just understanding. "I'm glad he has you," she added. "But he shouldn't be alone." That sentence landed heavy. Nathan returned to the table. "Why didn't you tell me you come here?" he asked. Robert struggled with his words. "But I didn't want trouble." "Trouble?" Nathan frowned. "You're busy," Robert said slowly.
"You have meetings. I don't want to be... Wait."
Nathan's throat tightened. A wait. That's how his father saw himself. Nathan remembered the last time he'd visited the care facility. 20 minutes, a signed check, a rushed goodbye. And now his father was sneaking out just to feel human again. Nathan closed his eyes briefly. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Robert smiled faintly. "It's okay," but it wasn't. Later, during a lull, Lily sat across from Nathan. "I lost my dad when I was 16, she said suddenly. "Stroke, same thing." Nathan looked up. He hated being treated like a problem, she continued. "So I promised myself if I ever saw someone like that, I'd treat them like a person first." Nathan nodded slowly. "And you don't get paid for that," he said. She laughed softly. "I get something better." "What?" "Peace." That word echoed in Nathan's mind. Peace. Nathan returned to his office later that day, but couldn't focus. Board meetings blurred, emails went unread. All he could see was Lily wiping soup from his father's chin. That night, Nathan drove himself to the care facility. For the first time in months, Robert wasn't there. The nurse explained he'd been leaving regularly. Nathan didn't stop him. He understood why now. The next Tuesday, Nathan returned to the diner. Not in a suit, no driver. Just a man, trying to learn. Lily was surprised. "You came back," she said. "I wanted to," he replied. They talked about life, about responsibility, about fear. Nathan admitted something he'd never said out loud. "I was afraid," he said, "that if I stayed close, I'd watch him fade." Lily looked at him gently. "Being present doesn't stop pain," she said, "but absence multiplies regret." Over weeks, a routine formed. Tuesdays and Fridays. Nathan sat with his father. Lily helped when needed, sometimes she just talked. Robert's smile returned, so did his appetite. Nathan noticed changes, small but real. One afternoon, the diner owner pulled Lily aside. "You're spending too much time at that table," he snapped. "This isn't a charity." Lily lowered her head. "I'll be quicker," she said. Nathan overheard. That night, he made a decision. Lily thought her kindness went unnoticed. She had no idea. The man she helped was preparing to change her life, and his were forever. Nathan didn't sleep that night. He sat alone in his penthouse, city lights glowing beneath him, replaying the diner owner's words in his head. This isn't a charity, but that diner had become the only place his father felt alive. And Lily, she was the reason. By morning, Nathan knew exactly what he had to do. The next Tuesday, Nathan arrived early. The diner was busy. The owner was stressed. Lily moved fast, trying not to linger near Robert's table. Nathan stood up. "Excuse me," he said loudly enough for the room to quiet. "I'd like a word with the owner." The man approached wary. Nathan spoke calmly, but firmly. "Your waitress has been doing something extraordinary here." The owner frowned. "She's slowing service." Nathan shook his head. "She's restoring dignity." A hush fell over the diner. Nathan took a breath. "My father," he said, placing a hand on Robert's shoulder, "is disabled. And for months this young woman treated him with more humanity than I did." Lily's eyes widened. Nathan turned to her. "You gave him something priceless," he said. "And I almost didn't notice." Tears filled Lily's eyes. "I was just helping," she whispered. Nathan faced the owner. "I want to buy this diner." Gasps. The owner laughed nervously. "You're joking." Nathan wasn't. "I'll pay above market value," he said. "Today." Silence. The owner swallowed. Lily stepped forward. "Sir, please don't do this because of me," she said. "I don't want special treatment." Nathan smiled softly. "This isn't special treatment," he said. "It's correction." By the end of the week, the diner belonged to Nathan. But he didn't change the menu, didn't rebrand, didn't raise prices. He changed the culture, flexible shifts, paid caregiving training, higher wages, and one more thing. He made Lily the floor manager. She tried to refuse. "I don't have experience," she said. "You have character," Nathan replied. "That's harder to teach." On reopening day, the diner was full. Nathan wheeled his father to the same corner table. Robert looked around confused. "So many people," he said slowly. Nathan knelt beside him. "You matter," he said, "and I'm done forgetting that." Robert's eyes filled with tears. He squeezed Nathan's hand and weakly but deliberately. Later that afternoon, Lily found Nathan outside. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. Nathan shook his head. "No," he replied. "Thank you," he paused. "You taught me that success without compassion is failure." Lily smiled through tears. The story spread. Not because Nathan was a billionaire, but because he finally acted like a son. Customers returned for the food, beer, but stayed for the feeling. A place where no one was invisible. Nathan didn't fix everything, but he showed up. And sometimes that's how healing begins. Kindness doesn't ask who you are. It only asks who you choose to be. And sometimes, the smallest act of care becomes the moment that changes everything.